All right, so your guys' opinion. We got two different drones, recon drone, XR recon drone. Do you guys think that the drone should be in the game? Do you guys think the drone is too overpowered? Do you think the drone should be nerfed, adjusted, and or do you think the enemies should react to it? What do you guys think?
I would say, looking at the tech tree, I mean, right away, drone is practically half of that tech tree for the gear, which is ridiculous. So, I mean, you get rid of that. That leaves you with syringe, body armor, ammo, grenade pouch, like barely any gear. I would be totally fine if they get rid of the drone, if they added in more better gear options, but there's just like barely options there to get rid of that.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because that's something I didn't even consider. Is the fact that you're right. There's hardly any gear. If you removed both those drones, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gear options, and that's it. But if you compare it to explosives, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So was that double, triple,
To be
triple the
fair, a
amount?
lot of that's kind of redundant, right? You get like
Sure.
the impact grenade and the frag grenade, very similar. You get like the recon vapor device, you get the scan grenade, you get the
Which scan
what
grenade's
else?
kinda broken or it needs its
The
text
scan
changed.
mine, like a lot of very similar type of stuff there. So it's not as much variety as it looks like, honestly. So I
But
think getting rid of drone is kind of besides the question. I think drone, honestly, there's not enough gear there to get rid of the drone, in my opinion. A better, I think, idea is how could you change the drone to make it more interesting or to make it less impactful, so that the operators could be more impactful with their abilities.
Well, easy peasy. Enemies, are actually pay attention to it, especially if you jump through a window or they're just aware of it running around and will try to destroy it or hit it, shoot at it. Like, right now, they just do nothing. They just say, "Oh, look, a window broke. Oh, hey, look, a little RC car that just bumped over all these rocks, and made all this noise and jumped through, jumped in front of me. Don't care.
yeah, I
Not a
completely
person, I don't
agree
care."
with that as well. I do think if we do keep the drones in the game, which is fine, I do think the drones play a good role. I don't necessarily really do want to get rid of them. I don't. I don't. I do think they do belong in the game. It's just, yeah, how can we make them, like you said, I don't know. The enemies should react because it's like you said, you could literally go right underneath anyone's leg except for the Smasher Apex, obviously, and nothing happens. It's too free. It's too easy of an ability, and it's way too strong. Too much knowledge.
Lasts too long.
Lasts too
Honestly,
long.
I think the trick to making the drone fair is honestly stop it from scanning enemies. And you use it basically just to find the objective, and you can use it for communicating and saying, "Hey, there's three guys in this, one on left door, one on the right side of the door," and then use it like your operator, where you can manually ping like one thing instead of just pinging everything for basically what is it? Like 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. It pings it forever, it feels
It
like.
pings it for a good time. And I almost was going to disagree with you right off the bat, but then you kind of pivoted it seemed like a little bit, and then it made complete sense to me. I could see that being a good idea, not being able to ping the enemies. However, maybe the person commanding the drone can actually ping up to multiples, or like you said, it just forcibly makes the team communicate saying, okay, you ping this guy, I'll ping this guy, and you ping that guy. Now we have 3 guys pinged in a room. Now I feel like if you do that, that might make it really weak, at which point I would personally probably never bring it and instead just bring pulse at all times and just not even worry about the drone because it doesn't feel that
Well,
strong.
you gotta remember what it's competing against in its own gear category, right? So it's gotta be
Ammo,
about
explosive
equal. It's
harness,
gotta be about equal to ammo and body armor,
explosive
basically.
harness, the revive, stim.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the issue is there's just not enough gear to compete for it, so it just shines, outperforms everything.
I mean, it's basically S tier gear versus D tier gear across the is the problem.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily rate everything D tier, but I mean, I get the point. Yeah, it's completely S tier, all on its own, and then everything else is way beneath it for sure in the gear category. 100% agree with that. Maybe that ultimately is the issue. It's just far superior, and why would you not have it at least one time on one person every single time you go through?
Yeah.
It needs to
That's
have a
why I
counterpart.
think it need yeah, that's why I think it doesn't counterpart. Like, what if instead of what I mean, building on to what I said, what if it does ping everything, but it only pings everything for like
Stops moving.
5 seconds?
You leave the drone there in that area.
I was gonna say, like, I can run the drone into the room, and I have to leave the drone in the room, not recall it, and then it will continue to ping just that room. But if I drive it through the map, it pings it all, but then it will unping within, like 5 seconds. So we can quickly see the whole map, but it's not going to leave everything highlighted forever. And then that gives me the option of, hey, I can just pop the drone in the room. It reveals everything in the room. And before I go to the next room, I could drone that room and leave it in there if I want. Or just have a quick look around. I mean, that adds a little bit more tactics, I would say. And that's kind of what the drone needs, is more tactics, because right now the drone just removes you needing to have them. Like, you barely gotta try it in order to win half the time, because you just ping everything, run through, and kill everything easy.
One could argue that maybe based off what you're saying is maybe not 5 or 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, but the drone actually has a much smaller battery, and you can't just recall it on a whim and just have it available again. It needs to go on like a cooldown, right? Maybe that would help it. Because right now,
Yeah.
it's like you could use it all the way up to 99% battery and then just recall it. It's back in your inventory and it's ready to go again. There's just no cooldown.
Or like cooldown when you go through the doors at the end of that specific sub level. So you get like one drone to use per sub level, and you got to make it count.
Oh, like one drone per sub level.
Yeah, and so if you run into a smash or an apex, it's smashed, and that's it.
So you can't be careless.
Yeah.
So
You gotta be careful.
so maybe even instead of sub zone, it's this gear has an X amount of uses, or like you said, if it gets destroyed, and then it can get picked up by a charge or something.
What? Just is.
I mean, body armor, you're down and out. It blocks down out once.
Yeah.
Your
it does.
revive kit, it revives you once. Why not you have one drone? If it gets destroyed, it's gone. If it runs out of battery or anything like that, it's gone. And if you're able to recall it, it takes longer to recharge. Like, maybe it takes a full minute to recharge a nearly depleted battery.
Okay.
Or what if you could even complicate that a bit more and say, hey, you need to go and manually pick up your drone, or you need to drive it back to your guy in order to manually pick it up before it runs out of battery. I don't know, just fun mechanics like that
Yeah.
require you to think. That requires you to also be risky and say, hey, do I want to try and hit that next room and see what's in there with the drone? I'm not going to be able to get the drone back to me if I do that, or I'm going to lose it for good. I don't know. As of now, though, it's too powerful. I agree.
Okay. So yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do our final verdict here. At the moment, we do believe that this is too strong.
Yeah.
For sure.
Guess what?
It's too
It's not
relied
fun
on.
to be the guy who runs around droning. You just get to drive the RC car, and everybody else gets to shoot and complete the objectives. So
That is very true.
too strong, and it's never fun.
Makes a good point there. Actually, it's definitely not very fun. I could argue, yeah, it's not fun. There's no arguing
You lose
about it.
that horror aspect because you know where everything is.